Driverly.com, unlimited drama series.
The text message that destroyed my life arrived at 2:47 p.m. on a Tuesday, right as I was reviewing blueprints for the Riverside Medical Center project. We need a bigger diamond. My ex is making fun of my ring on Instagram. Everyone can see how cheap you are, Mike. I stared at my phone, feeling something cold settle in my chest. 3 years together, 8 months engaged, and Jessica Harper, soon to be my wife, had just reduced our entire relationship to carrots and social media humiliation. My name is Mike Harper, and I'm a 38-year-old architect who built a successful firm from nothing. I design buildings that last centuries, solve complex structural problems, and create spaces where people live their lives. But apparently, none of that mattered because I'd bought a 1-carat diamond instead of 3. The ring had cost me $12,000. Not pocket change, but not enough to impress Jess's friends in their endless social media warfare. I walked to my office window looking out at downtown Boston. My reflection stared back. Average height, brown hair starting to thin, laugh lines around my eyes that weren't laughing much lately. When had I become the guy who wasn't good enough? You look like someone stole your lunch money. Eli Martinez, my business partner and best friend since college, appeared in my doorway holding 2 cups of coffee. Worse. Jess wants a bigger diamond. I showed him the text. Eli whistled low. Ouch. What did you tell her? Nothing yet. I'm trying to decide between go to hell and find someone else to finance your Instagram lifestyle. I vote for option 1. It's more direct. Eli handed me a coffee and sat down. Mike, I've been watching this train wreck for months. She's bleeding you dry, and you know it. He wasn't wrong. The designer clothes, the expensive dinners, the weekend trips to Martha's Vineyard, all on my credit card. Jess made decent money as a PR executive at Price Communications, but she spent it faster than she earned it. She says Derek Price is taking the team to some luxury resort next month for a company retreat. Wants me to buy her a new wardrobe so she doesn't look poor in front of her colleagues. Derek Price? Eli raised an eyebrow. Isn't he the guy who just went through that messy divorce? The one who was cheating with his secretary? That's him. Jess's boss, and, according to her, a brilliant businessman who knows how to treat people right. Unlike you, apparently. Apparently. My phone buzzed again. Another text from Jess. Tara got a 4-carat ring from her new boyfriend. 4 carats, Mike. What does that say about us? It said that Tara was dating a 70-year-old pharmaceutical executive who collected young girlfriends like vintage wines. But I kept that observation to myself. You know what? I'm done. I stood up, grabbed my jacket. I'm going to Cartier right now to return this ring and get my money back. Good for you. Then what? Then I'm going to have a very interesting conversation with my fiance. The drive to Cartier took 20 minutes through Boston traffic. I'd bought the ring there 3 months ago, full of hope and stupid romantic notions. The same salesperson who'd helped me pick it out, a polished woman named Margaret, recognized me immediately. Mr. Harper, how wonderful to see you again. Is everything all right with the ring? Actually, I need to return it. Her smile faltered slightly. Oh, I see. Well, you're still within our return period. May I ask if there was a quality issue? No, the ring is perfect. The relationship, however, is not. Margaret nodded with the practiced sympathy of someone who'd seen this before. I understand completely. Let me process this for you. 15 minutes later, I walked out $12,000 richer and considerably lighter. My phone had been buzzing constantly, just wondering where I was when I'd be home, whether I'd thought about our conversation. Instead of going home, I drove to Murphy's Tavern, a dive bar near my office where the beer was cold and nobody cared about diamond sizes. I needed to think. The place was nearly empty at 4 in the afternoon. I ordered a Guinness and tried to figure out how I'd gotten here. 3 years ago, Jess had seemed different. Ambitious, yes, but not cruel. Beautiful, definitely, but not vain to the point of obsession. Or maybe I'd just been too smitten to notice. My phone rang. Jess. Mike, where are you? I've been texting you for an hour. I'm at Murphy's. That disgusting bar? Why? We need to talk about the ring situation. Actually, I already handled the ring situation. Oh, good. When can I see it? Did you go with the 3-carat princess cut I showed you? No, Jess, I returned it. Got my money back. Silence. Then, you what? I returned the ring. We're done. Mike, you can't be serious. You're upset about the text, I get it, but I'm completely serious. Don't come to my place tonight. Don't come to my office. We're finished. I hung up and blocked her number. The bartender, a grizzled guy named Tommy, who'd seen everything twice, slid another beer across the bar. On the house. You look like you need it. Thanks, just ended my engagement. Good for you. Life's too short to spend it with someone who doesn't appreciate what you bring to the table. If only it were that simple. The next morning, I woke up to 17 missed calls from Jess and a series of increasingly frantic voicemails. I deleted them all without listening. I also had 3 texts from Eli. Heard through the grapevine that Jess is losing her mind. Stay strong. At the office, my assistant Rebecca greeted me with raised eyebrows and a knowing look. So, I heard you're a free man again? News travels fast. Jess called here 6 times this morning. I told her you were in meetings. Thanks. Hold all her calls indefinitely. Gladly. For what it's worth, I never liked her. She treated you like an ATM with a pulse. That afternoon, Eli knocked on my door with a grim expression. We need to talk. And you're not going to like this. He closed the door and handed me his phone. On the screen was a screenshot of what looked like a group text conversation. Chloe Martinez, you remember Jess's friend from college. She sent this to my wife. Thought you should see it. I read the messages, feeling my blood pressure rise with each line. Jess, Mike is being such a cheap ass about the ring. I'm embarrassed to wear this tiny thing. Tara, girl, you need to trade up. Derek Price has been checking you out at every company event. Jess, Derek knows how to treat a woman, unlike some people. Chloe, maybe it's time to explore your options. Life's too short for small diamonds and smaller men. Jess, Derek invited me to that resort retreat. Says he wants to discuss my future with the company over dinner. Private dinner. Tara, sounds promising. Jess, Mike will never know. He's too busy playing with his little building blocks to notice what's right in front of him. I handed the phone back to Eli, my hands surprisingly steady. When was this sent? Yesterday, before you returned the ring. So she was already planning to cheat on me while demanding I spend more money on her. Looks that way. I'm sorry, Mike. I know this hurts. It didn't hurt. It burned. Like acid in my veins, dissolving whatever remaining affection I'd felt for Jessica Harper and replacing it with something much more dangerous. You know what the funny thing is? I said. She got exactly what she wanted. No more ring, no more cheap fiance. She's free to pursue Derek Price in his deep pockets. You're taking this awfully well. Oh, I'm taking it well. I'm taking it very, very well. That evening, I did something I'd never done before. I hired a private investigator. Not some shady character from a noir movie, but a legitimate professional named Sarah Chen, who specialized in corporate investigations and matrimonial cases. I need to know what my ex-fiancée is up to, I told her over coffee at a downtown cafe. Specifically, her relationship with her boss, Derek Price. Sarah was a small, efficient woman in her 40s with sharp eyes and a no-nonsense attitude. This is about the company retreat to the Hamptons next weekend. You already know about it? I make it my business to know about Derek Price. He's been on my radar for other cases. Serial cheater, uses company events to seduce employees, has a pattern of... promising promotions in exchange for personal favors. Can you document it? For the right fee, I can document everything. Photos, videos, financial records showing company money spent on personal entertainment. The question is, what do you plan to do with the information? I'm not sure yet, but I want options. Fair enough. Give me a week. The next few days passed in a strange calm. Jess stopped calling after I had my lawyer send her a cease and desist letter. My work became my refuge. I threw myself into the medical center project, refining every detail until it was perfect. But I wasn't sleeping well. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw those text messages, the casual cruelty of them, the way she'd laughed about my little building blocks while planning to betray me. Friday evening, Sarah called. I have your photos. We met at the same cafe. She slid a manila envelope across the table. Derek Price rented a suite at the Ocean View Resort, charged it to the company as a team building exercise. But the only team members who showed up were him and your ex-fiance. They've been there since Wednesday. I opened the envelope. The photos were crystal clear. Jess and Derek on a private beach, sharing intimate dinners, entering his suite together. In one particularly damning shot, Derek was kissing her neck while she laughed, wearing a bikini that cost more than most people's monthly rent. There's more, Sarah said. I did some digging into Derek's finances. He's not as wealthy as he pretends. The company is hemorrhaging money, mostly due to his lavish spending on business expenses that are actually personal entertainment. His ex-wife took him for half his assets, and he's been using company credit cards to maintain his lifestyle. So he's broke? Worse, he's desperate. And desperate men make stupid decisions. I studied the photos again. Jess looked happier than I'd seen her in months. Derek looked like a man who'd won the lottery. They had no idea what was coming. I need you to do one more thing, I told Sarah. I need everything you can find on Price Communications business practices. Client lists, financial records, anything that might be interesting to their competitors or the press. That's going to cost extra. Money is no object. The following Monday, I put my plan into motion. It started small, an anonymous tip to a business blogger about Derek Price's questionable expense accounts. The blogger, hungry for content, did his own investigation and published a scathing article about executives who use company funds as personal piggy banks. The article went viral in Boston's business community. Price Communications' stock price dropped 15% in 2 days. But that was just the appetizer. On Wednesday, I received a call from Tom Bradley, the CEO of Riverside Medical and my biggest client. Mike, I need to ask you something, and I want a straight answer. Did you share any of our building plans with Price Communications? My blood went cold. Absolutely not. Absolutely. Why would you ask that? Because Derek Price just pitched us a marketing campaign that includes detailed knowledge of our facility layout, construction timeline, and patient flow patterns. Information that's not public. Tom, I swear to you, I never shared those plans with anyone outside our team. I believe you, but someone did, and I'm betting I know who. I did too. Jess had access to my laptop, my files, my entire professional life. While I was working late nights to perfect the medical center design, she'd been copying my work to help her lover steal my client. What do you want me to do? I asked Tom. Nothing yet, but if I were you, I'd check my computer security and maybe consider changing my passwords. After hanging up, I called Sarah Chen. I need to accelerate our timeline. They're stealing my work. How do you want to handle this? Publicly. Very publicly. That Friday night, Boston's business elite gathered at the Fairmont Copley Plaza for the annual Marketing Excellence Awards. Price Communications was nominated in 3 categories. Derek Price would be there, basking in the spotlight, accepting accolades for campaigns built on stolen architectural plans. Jess would be there too, as his date. I wouldn't normally attend such an event, but I'd bought a ticket that afternoon. I wore my best suit, the one Jess had always said made me look almost handsome, and arrived fashionably late. The ballroom was packed with Boston's power players. I spotted Derek immediately. He was holding court near the bar, regaling a small crowd with stories of his latest brilliant marketing coup. Jess stood beside him in a stunning red dress, laughing at his jokes and playing the perfect corporate girlfriend. She looked beautiful. She also looked like a stranger. I waited until Derek stepped away to refresh his drink, then approached Jess. Her face went white when she saw me. Mike, what are you doing here? Supporting local business. Congratulations on your new relationship, by the way. Very classy, waiting almost a full week after our breakup before going public. It's not what you think. It's exactly what I think. You've been planning this for weeks, haven't you? The complaints about the ring, the fights about money, all just an excuse to trade up to a richer man. You don't understand. Derek and I have a connection. You have a connection to his wallet, or what's left of it. Derek returned with 2 glasses of champagne, his smile fading when he saw me. Harper.
You wrote him love poems. In 10 years, you never wrote me a word.
It was emotional.
How is he telling in another?
Watch more on Grammarly.com.
I didn't expect to see you here. I wouldn't miss this for the world, especially since you're being honored tonight for campaigns based on my architectural designs. Derek's face flushed. I don't know what you're talking about. The Riverside Medical Campaign. The one that got you nominated for the Innovation Award? Every patient flowchart, every traffic pattern, every structural detail, all stolen from my files. That's a serious accusation, Derek said, but his voice lacked conviction. It's a serious crime. Corporate espionage, theft of intellectual property, breach of fiduciary duty. I've already spoken to my lawyers. Jess grabbed my arm. Mike, please. Can't we discuss this privately? Like you discussed our relationship privately while you were screwing your boss? The conversation around us had stopped. People were staring, sensing drama. In Boston's tight-knit business community, public confrontations were rare and therefore irresistible. Derek stepped closer, lowering his voice. You need to leave. Now, before you embarrass yourself further. The only person who should be embarrassed is you. Tell me, Derek, does your board of directors know you've been using company funds to finance romantic getaways? Or that you're stealing intellectual property from competitors to cover for your own lack of creativity? You can't prove any of that. I smiled and pulled out my phone. Actually, I can. I opened the photo gallery and held up the screen, showing the pictures Sarah had taken. Derek and Jess on the beach, intimate and carefree, with the Ocean View Resort's logo clearly visible in the background. These were taken last weekend during your company retreat. Funny how the only company employees who attended were you and my ex-fiancé. I'm sure your shareholders would love to see how their money is being spent. Jess lunged for my phone, but I pulled it away. Give me that. Why? Afraid people might see what you really are? What I really am. I'm someone who refuses to settle for a man who can't even afford a decent engagement ring. The words hung in the air like a slap. Around us, the crowd had grown larger. I recognized several prominent business leaders, a few reporters, and at least one city councilman. You're right, I said calmly. You deserve so much better than a man who builds hospitals and schools for a living. You deserve someone who steals other people's work and embezzles company funds to pay for weekend getaways. Derek's face was purple now. That's defamation. I'll sue you for every penny you have. With what lawyer? The same one handling your company's bankruptcy proceedings? That hit home. Derek's eyes widened, and I knew Sarah's financial investigation had been accurate. How did you know about the bankruptcy? It's public record, Derek. Filed last Tuesday, right after that article about your expense account. Irregularities went viral. Turns out investors don't like executives who treat company funds as personal shopping accounts. The crowd was murmuring now, sensing blood in the water. Several people had their phones out, recording everything. Derek grabbed Jess's hand. We're leaving. No, I said. You're not. I raised my voice, addressing the crowd. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to meet Derek Price, CEO of Price Communications, and Jessica Harper, my former fiancée. They're here tonight celebrating Derek's nomination for the Innovation Award, an award based entirely on stolen architectural plans from my firm. The murmuring grew louder. Someone called out, "Is that true?" It's completely true. I have documentation proving that confidential building plans from my medical center project were used without permission in Derek's marketing campaign. Plans that only someone with access to my personal files could have obtained. I looked directly at Jess. Someone I trusted. Someone I loved. Someone who repaid that trust by copying my work and giving it to her lover. Jess was crying now, mascara running down her cheeks. Mike, please stop. You're ruining everything. I'm not ruining anything. I'm revealing what was already ruined. The question is, how long has this been going on? How many other projects have you stolen? How many other clients have you betrayed? Derek finally found his voice. This is harassment. Security. But no security guards appeared. Instead, Tom Bradley pushed through the crowd, his face grim. Derek, I think we need to talk, privately, about the Riverside campaign and where exactly you got your information. Tom, I can explain. I'm sure you can. My lawyers will be very interested in that explanation. The crowd was buzzing now, sensing a major scandal unfolding. I could see reporters taking notes, business leaders whispering to their associates, competitors smelling blood in the water. Derek's empire was collapsing in real time, and everyone could see it happening. This isn't over, Derek hissed at me. You're absolutely right, I replied. It's just beginning. Over the next 2 weeks, the fallout was spectacular. The business blogger who'd written the initial article about Derek's expenses followed up with a detailed expose about the stolen architectural plans. 3 major clients canceled their contracts with Price Communications. The Massachusetts Attorney General's office opened an investigation into corporate fraud. Derek Price was finished. But I wasn't done yet. Jess had been trying to reach me constantly. Calls, texts, emails, even showing up at my office building. I ignored them all until she finally cornered me in the parking garage one evening. Mike, we need to talk. She looked terrible. Her hair was unkempt, her expensive clothes wrinkled, her eyes red from crying. There's nothing to talk about, Jess. Yes, there is. I made a mistake. A huge mistake. Derek was using me. I see that now. Really? What gave it away? The bankruptcy? The fraud investigation? Or the fact that he threw you under the bus the minute things got difficult? All of it. I was stupid and greedy, and I hurt the one person who actually cared about me. Past tense. I cared about you. I don't anymore. Mike, please. I know I don't deserve it, but I'm asking for forgiveness, for another chance. I looked at her, really looked at her, for the first time in months. She was still beautiful, still the woman I'd fallen in love with 3 years ago. But that woman had never really existed. She'd been a performance, a carefully constructed illusion designed to secure financial stability and social status. Do you know what the worst part is? I said. It's not the cheating. It's not even the stealing. It's the way you talked about me to your friends. Little building blocks. Like my work, my passion, my entire career was just a joke to you. I didn't mean it like that. Yes, you did. And that's why we can never work. You don't respect what I do, and you don't respect who I am. You never did. I can change. No, you can't. And I wouldn't want you to. This is who you are, Jess. Own it. I walked away, leaving her standing alone in the parking garage. It was the last time we spoke. The final piece of my revenge came 3 months later. Derek Price's company had officially filed for bankruptcy, and he was facing criminal charges for embezzlement and corporate fraud. But I wanted something more personal. Sarah Chen had continued investigating Derek's background, and she'd uncovered something interesting. He'd used the same pattern of seduction and theft at his previous company. There were other victims, women he'd manipulated, competitors he'd cheated, clients he'd defrauded. I gathered all the evidence and created a comprehensive dossier. Then I sent copies to every major business publication in New England, along with a detailed timeline of Derek's criminal activities. The story broke on a Tuesday morning. The rise and fall of Derek Price, a pattern of fraud, theft, and corporate seduction. It was devastating. The article didn't just destroy Derek's remaining reputation, it exposed him as a serial predator who'd built his entire career on stolen ideas and manipulated relationships. By noon, Derek Price was trending on social media. By evening, he was unemployable. But the real satisfaction came from an unexpected source. Chloe Martinez, The friend who'd originally sent those damning text messages to Eli's wife, called me directly. Mike, I need to tell you something about Jess. I'm not interested in hearing about Jess. You need to hear this. She's been telling people that you sabotaged Derek's company out of jealousy, that you're obsessed with her and can't let go. Let her say whatever she wants. The truth speaks for itself. That's just it. I have proof that she's lying. Screenshots of her admitting that she stole your files and gave them to Derek. Messages where she brags about manipulating both of you for money. Why are you telling me this? Because I'm tired of watching her play the victim. She destroyed her own life and Derek's too. You were just defending yourself. Send me the screenshots. The messages were even worse than I'd imagined. Jess hadn't just stolen my work. She'd actively planned to destroy my business once she'd extracted everything useful from our relationship. She'd discussed spreading rumors about my professional competence, poaching my clients, even filing false complaints with the state licensing board. She hadn't just betrayed me, she'd tried to annihilate me. I forwarded the screenshots to my lawyer, who added them to our civil suit against both Jess and Derek for theft of intellectual property. The case was settled out of court for a sum that more than compensated for my losses and legal fees. 6 months after that disastrous night at the awards ceremony, I was sitting in my newly renovated office, reviewing plans for the largest project of my career, a mixed-use development that would reshape downtown Boston's skyline. The Riverside Medical Center had been completed on schedule and under budget, earning my firm national recognition and 3 new major contracts. Eli knocked on my door. You've got a visitor. If it's Jess, it's not Jess. It's someone much more interesting. He stepped aside and Tom Bradley walked in, followed by a woman I didn't recognize. Tall, elegant, with intelligent eyes and a confident smile. Mike, I'd like you to meet Catherine Walsh. She's the CEO of Walsh Development Group. I knew the name, one of the most successful real estate companies in New England. Mr. Harper, Catherine said, extending her hand. I've been following your work since the medical center project. I'm very impressed. Thank you. What can I do for you? I have a proposition. Walsh Development is planning a $1 billion mixed-use complex in downtown Boston. Residential, commercial, and cultural spaces integrated into a single architectural vision. We need someone with your talent and integrity to design it. It sounds incredible, but I'm sure you have your pick of architectural firms. We do. But after what happened with Derek Price, I realized how important it is to work with people of character. Someone who won't compromise their principles for personal gain. She was talking about my revenge against Derek and Jess, but framing it as professional integrity. I appreciated the diplomatic approach. When would you need an answer? Take your time. But Mike, this project will make you one of the most prominent architects in the country. Your name will be on a building that defines Boston's skyline for the next century. After she left, I stood at my window, looking out at the city I'd helped shape. Somewhere out there, Derek Price was probably working as a used car salesman or insurance adjuster, his business career permanently destroyed. Jess was reportedly working as a receptionist at a small marketing firm, her social media presence reduced to inspirational quotes about learning from mistakes. They'd both gotten exactly what they deserved. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Congratulations on the Walsh contract. You earned it. See, Chloe. Still keeping tabs on everyone's business, but at least she was on the right side now. I deleted the message and got back to work. There were buildings to design, problems to solve, a city to reshape, and somewhere in a drawer in my desk, wrapped in tissue paper, was a $12,000 engagement ring that would never see another finger. I'd kept it as a reminder, not of what I'd lost, but of what I'd escaped. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't getting even. It's becoming so successful that your enemy's failures pale in comparison to your triumphs. Derek Price had wanted to steal my work and destroy my reputation. Instead, he'd handed me the motivation to reach heights I'd never imagined possible. Jessica Harper had wanted a bigger diamond, a richer husband, a more impressive lifestyle. Instead, she'd lost everything and gained nothing but the knowledge that she'd thrown away the best thing that ever happened to her. And me? I'd gotten something better than revenge. I'd gotten justice. The Walsh Development Project would take 5 years to complete. 5 years of challenging work, creative problem solving, and professional satisfaction. 5 years of building something permanent and meaningful. 5 years of proving that integrity and talent matter more than manipulation and greed. As I worked late into the evening, refining the initial sketches for what would become the Harper Tower. Yes, Catherine had insisted on naming it after me. I thought about the text message that had started it all. We need a bigger diamond. Jess had been right about one thing. She did need something bigger. She needed a bigger heart, a bigger soul, a bigger capacity for loyalty and love. But diamonds? Diamonds were just carbon under pressure. And I'd been under enough pressure to last a lifetime.